The year was 2016. Across America's heartland, endless fields stretched beneath the sky, marked by the unmistakable green and yellow of John Deere machinery. Rural communities faced a period of uncertainty as economic and political shifts swept the nation. At the center of this change was Donald Trump, then a presidential hopeful, rallying crowds from small towns to major cities. His message resonated with thousands eager for a new direction. With bold words and sweeping gestures, Trump pledged to revive the American dream for those who felt forgotten. He promised to restore American jobs. Factories that once powered small towns, he said, would come alive again, and the era of outsourcing would end. America first, he declared. The crowd responded with cheers and waving flags as Trump vowed to shield American workers from what he called unfair competition abroad. He made it clear, he was ready to challenge even the biggest corporations. No business, no matter how legendary, would be exempt from his America First policies. John Deere, a name synonymous with American innovation and hard work, suddenly found itself in the political spotlight. Trump specifically targeted John Deere, threatening a staggering 200% tariff if the company moved production overseas. He insisted that American companies should manufacture at home or pay the price. The announcement was dramatic. The audience reacted with shock, and the media buzzed with questions. Would Trump act on his threat? What would this mean for global companies like John Deere? This set up a dramatic confrontation. A president known for his hardline stance versus a company woven into the fabric of American agriculture. Farmers, workers, and business leaders watched, waiting to see who would yield. But this was about more than just tractors. It was about the destiny of rural America, the future of manufacturing, and the government's role in shaping the economy. The debate touched on globalization, national pride, and the future of American industry. Could companies remain competitive worldwide while staying loyal to their roots? Or would they have to choose between profit and patriotism? The conflict echoed far beyond factories and fields. It reached boardrooms and kitchen tables across the country as Americans reconsidered what it means to support Made in the USA. Jump ahead to 2025. Nearly 10 years later, the landscape has evolved, but the core questions persist. John Deere, once a symbol of American manufacturing, has become a global giant. The company now exports its equipment worldwide, supporting farmers from the Midwest to distant continents. John Deere has expanded its manufacturing footprint to places like India and Brazil. These new plants create jobs and share technology abroad, but they also spark tough conversations at home. The debate over American jobs and corporate responsibility has reignited. Workers worry about their livelihoods, while company leaders argue that global expansion is necessary to survive. The central question remains: can a company be both globally successful and deeply loyal to its American heritage? As the world grows more connected and the stakes rise, the story of Trump versus Deere continues, a story about identity, ambition, and the choices shaping the future of American industry. To understand the magnitude of the challenge John Deere faces today, we must look back to the origins of American farming and industry. John Deere's story is intertwined with the nation's own growth, reflecting the transformation of its land and the enduring spirit of its people. John Deere stands as a powerful symbol in the American narrative. For countless people, the name evokes visions of sprawling fields, dedicated families, and the drive for progress. It's not just a company, it's a thread running through the heart of rural America. The company's journey began in 1837, sparked by a groundbreaking idea: the self-scouring steel plow. At a time when farmers battled with sticky Midwestern soil that clung to wooden plows, Deere's invention made a world of difference. His plow cut through the earth effortlessly, opening up new possibilities for cultivation. This single breakthrough unlocked the vast potential of the Midwest, enabling settlers to turn untamed prairies into productive farmland. The result was a surge in agriculture that nourished a growing country and fueled westward expansion. The steel plow became a beacon of hope and a tool that helped shape America's destiny. Over the years, John Deere has come to represent American innovation, perseverance, and the core values of the heartland. Tractors and tools were handed down through generations, along with stories of grit and pride. The company's legacy lives on in the hands of those who work the land year after year. The iconic green and yellow tractors are more than just equipment. They're a symbol of achievement, a mark of the nation's ability to feed itself and others. These machines, instantly recognizable, move across fields from dawn to dusk, representing the determination and resilience of American farmers. Yet, as a new day begins, agriculture is once again evolving. The landscape is shifting, just as it did in John Deere's early days. Advances in technology, economic pressures, and global trends are redefining what it means to farm and manufacture in America. Farming has become a high-tech, global enterprise. Today's farmers depend on satellite-guided machinery, instant data, and worldwide weather updates. The tools and challenges have changed dramatically. Agriculture now operates on a global stage, shaped by international competition, intricate supply chains, and the constant demand to do more with less. American crops and equipment travel the world, feeding populations and driving economies far beyond U.S. borders. John Deere, like other legendary American companies, must navigate this new landscape. The company faces tough choices as it tries to honor its heritage while adapting to a rapidly changing market. Boardrooms are filled with conversations about global strategies, innovation, and the future of American manufacturing. To remain competitive, John Deere has expanded internationally, seeking new markets and more efficient production. Factories now operate worldwide, and equipment is shipped across continents. This global reach brings both new opportunities and new debates. This leads us directly to the current standoff with Trump. As political leaders argue over the future of American industry, farmers and workers watch anxiously, aware that their livelihoods are at stake. The decisions made by John Deere and policymakers will shape the fate of rural America. The key question remains: can John Deere uphold its deep roots in American jobs and manufacturing while adapting to a globalized world? Is it possible to preserve the company's legacy and values while embracing the innovation and efficiency the modern era demands? Or will the company be forced to choose between its proud history and its future? The answer will not only determine John Deere's path, but also the future of American agriculture and the communities that rely on it. John Deere's expansion into international markets isn't about abandoning its American heritage or values. Instead, it's a calculated move shaped by several critical business considerations. Chief among them, keeping costs down. Producing equipment in places like China and India, where expenses for labor and materials are lower, can make a big difference in profitability. There's also the advantage of being closer to essential resources and gaining access to fast-growing markets around the world. By setting up operations in these areas, John Deere can optimize its supply chain, cut down on shipping expenses, and reach new customers in booming regions. On top of that, every country has its own set of rules and trade deals. Navigating these local regulations can open doors and create benefits that aren't possible if everything is made only in the US. Still, this global strategy has sparked backlash, especially from those who feel American companies should put domestic jobs and communities first. Donald Trump's campaign was built on a pledge to revive American manufacturing. From the outset, he made it a central mission to bring jobs back to the US, speaking fervently at rallies about restoring the nation's industrial strength and ensuring American workers wouldn't be sidelined by global competition. The core of his America First agenda was to safeguard US jobs and cut down on dependence on foreign products. Trump argued that years of free trade deals had eroded America's manufacturing sector, sending factories and jobs overseas. By prioritizing America, he vowed to reverse this decline and rebuild the country's economic backbone. Tariffs, in Trump's view, were a crucial weapon to even the odds and discourage outsourcing. By taxing imports, he believed American-made goods would become more attractive, motivating companies to keep production and jobs on US soil. This, he claimed, would not only protect current jobs but also ignite a new era of industrial growth. When Trump threatened a 200% tariff on John Deere products made abroad, it was a dramatic and contentious move. He targeted one of the most recognizable names in American agriculture, sending a clear signal. Companies that shift production overseas would face steep consequences if they tried to sell those goods back in the US. This wasn't just a warning to John Deere, it was a message to all American firms considering offshoring. Trump wanted corporate leaders to know that the days of chasing higher profits abroad were numbered. To access the American market, he insisted, companies must invest in American workers and facilities. Trump argued that moving jobs overseas would hurt American workers and weaken the nation's economy. He often highlighted the personal toll of globalization, families struggling after factories closed, communities left behind, and the loss of pride when Made in America became rare. For him, Defending domestic industry was vital for national security and the well-being of working families. But critics say tariffs are a blunt tool that can backfire. Economists and business leaders warned that such measures could trigger trade wars, disrupt supply chains, and provoke retaliation from other nations. They noted that tariffs often mean higher costs for American companies and consumers, making everyday products more expensive and reducing U.S. competitiveness. Opponents argue that tariffs drive up prices for consumers, hurt businesses reliant on imports, and ultimately damage the very workers they're meant to help. Many American farmers and small businesses depend on affordable equipment and materials from abroad. When tariffs raise costs, these groups feel the squeeze, facing higher expenses and slimmer profits. Sometimes those costs are passed on to shoppers, fueling inflation and making it harder for families to get by. The clash between Trump and John Deere brought these issues into sharp focus. The company, a symbol of American farming, suddenly found itself at the heart of a national debate. Would it keep jobs in the U.S., or pursue lower costs overseas and risk a showdown with the White House? The media tracked every twist, spotlighting the tough choices facing American businesses in a global economy. This standoff sparked a nationwide discussion about the true costs and benefits of globalization, the government's role in trade, and the competing interests of companies, workers, and consumers. As Americans debated these questions in town halls, on TV, and at home, one thing was clear: balancing economic growth, job security, and affordable goods is more complicated than ever. The Trump tariffs and the John Deere controversy highlighted just how high the stakes are for the future of American industry and the livelihoods of millions across the country.